This is Modern Service Mastery, business school with boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
All right, Jake, let's set the stage. For decades, leadership in our sectors, landscaping, construction, service industries, was all about command and control. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Like, do what I say, no questions asked. It's like being a robot instead of a real human.
Exactly. And it kind of worked in some environments, way back when the workforce just needed to follow a checklist and produce. But today, different game. People aren't looking for orders. They want inspiration, growth, guidance.
Right. I see it even with some of my guys. If it's all, hey, just do this, they kind of zone out, man. But when I say, let's figure this out together, I see them perk up, get invested in the job. It makes the work less of a grind.
Absolutely, and that's where coaching leadership comes into play. Imagine shifting your mindset from being a boss barking orders to being someone who pushes their team, supports them, but also challenges them. Picture it like this, like a personal trainer at the gym.
Oh, I like where this is going. But wait, what about this command and control stuff? I feel like we should really tear it down first before we lift up the coaching style.
Good point, Jake. All right, let's talk the flaws. Command and control might get short-term results, sure, but it crushes motivation over time. People feel like cogs, Jake. The creativity, the thinking, it dies out.
And morale tanks too, right? Like, why should they care about the job if they're just seen as a tool to get it done?
Right, and with that low morale comes low engagement. You lose the spark, the energy in your team. And let me tell you, a disengaged crew doesn't deliver the best work, period.
Yeah, that's when you see corners being cut like, ugh, don't even get me started.
All right, now contrast that with a coaching leadership style. We're talking trust, Jake. When your crew knows you've got their back and you're there to elevate them, they perform. They show up with care and pride.
And I gotta say, it's way more rewarding too, for the leader. Like when you see someone on your team grow and step up because you coached them, that's the real win, man.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Coaching unlocks critical thinking. If you stop saying, do this, and start asking, how would you approach this? You're growing their problem-solving muscles. You're not just handing them fish, you're teaching them how to fish, right?
Yeah, and they get better at owning their decisions. Like they screw up less because they actually thought through what they're doing.
Right. Yep. Accountability skyrockets. You give team members ownership over their work, and they take pride in it. Suddenly, the team's not just following your vision, they're driving it.
Man, I love all that. But Mike, you had some story about a job site, right? That HVAC project?
Oh, yeah. So let me take you back to this HVAC project we had. Big building, multiple moving parts, tight deadlines. It was classic command and control. The manager was barking at the crew every step of the way. And, well, the results were disappointing because morale, bottom of the barrel.
I can already see it. A bunch of workers getting through the day, just doing the bare minimum to avoid getting chewed out.
Exactly. Now, we swapped the lead for this guy who had a coaching mindset. First day, he sits the crew down and says, listen, this job matters. I know it's tough. What do you all think is holding us back? How can we pivot? Suddenly, ideas started rolling in.
Man, I bet it felt like night and day, right?
Night and day. They connected to the purpose of the work. They found ways to streamline things without sacrificing quality. And the kicker? They hit, not just the deadline, but the highest efficiency scores across all projects that quarter.
Wow, from chaos to crushing it, huh? Coaching for the win.
And that's the power of pushing people with care, Jake. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this coaching mindset.
All right, Mike, you were just saying how coaching leadership is the real game changer. This morning you mentioned something about this musclehead Mike thing. Sounds like we're in for a story. What's the deal with that?
Okay, Jake, picture this. Musclehead Mike is this larger-than-life gym rat full of energy, right? But he's not just about lifting weights. He's a master personal trainer who knows how to push people while making them feel unstoppable. And that's kind of how coaching works for leaders.
Oh man, so you're telling me you're about to bring gym wisdom into crew leadership?
You bet I am. So let's start with the first principle here. Spot, don't smother. Think about it. You're not there to go through every set with someone. You're there to support, guide, and step in only when they need you.
Makes total sense. Like, you're not babysitting them, right? Just keeping an eye, ready to jump in if things go sideways.
Exactly. Now take this to the job site. If you're smothering your crew, barking directions every 5 seconds, you're not letting them grow, Jake. They don't develop confidence, and you're wasting energy.
Right. And after a while, they're just like, yeah, yell. It's like you're dragging their mental weight instead of letting them lift it themselves.
Exactly. But spotting means you're showing them you've got their back. It's subtle, powerful. Now let's talk about celebrating small wins. Another big one for Musclehead Mike. A great trainer doesn't just wait for you to bench 300 pounds before clapping for you. They'll celebrate when you add an extra 5 and nail it.
Ooh, I love that. Like on job sites, say someone who usually struggles with edging finally nails it clean the first time. You call that out, you know? Like, hey, good work on that edge, Sarah. Keep doing it like that.
You got it, exactly. These small moments build momentum, Jake. Your team starts wanting that acknowledgement, striving to do better, and it adds up over time. You build morale while raising the bar.
Yeah, and it's so much better than just focusing on mistakes. Like, nobody wants the boss who only speaks up to criticize.
True, huge culture killer. But let's not forget, coaching isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you got to push your crew out of their comfort zones. Great leadership, just like great training, requires knowing when to challenge them.
Man, I remember that one time on a job site. We were laying pavers, full sun, brutal day. I had to pull one of my guys aside. He'd slowed way down. Instead of laying into him, I said, I know this sucks, but you think you can push through 10 more pavers? Then we'll take a breather? And boom, he powered through, even picked up speed after the break. Just needed that kind of push.
Perfect example. That's what Musclehead Mike calls pushing past limits. You challenge them, but you're right there spotting them if it starts to crumble. You push and they know they're safe.
And the more you do it, the more they realize they're actually stronger than they thought, right?
Exactly, Jake. And that's what builds a resilient team. Between spotting, celebrating wins, and giving that tough but caring push now and then, you're setting up your crew for success.
Man, this is good stuff. All right, though, you keep teasing more tips. What's next?
Well, Jake, next we're diving into some real role-playing. We'll take everything we just talked about and put it into action with real scenarios. Think you can keep up?
Hell yeah, bro.
All right, theory's great, but action is where the magic happens. Let's dive into these role-playing scenarios and see how you handle putting it all together.
Oh, for sure. It's like training in the gym, right? You don't just read about lifting. You got to pick up the weights and see what works.
Exactly. So let's dive into our first scenario. Picture this. You're on a job site, the team's laying sod, and things are falling behind schedule. The old school commander might just start shouting, right?
Yeah, like, hurry it up, ladies. What the F is taking so long? Classic drill sergeant mode.
Right. But the coach? Totally different approach. Now I'll play Musclehead Mike stepping in as the coach. I know you've been dying to see that.
Oh, here we go. Let's do it.
All right, team, listen up. I know we're feeling the heat today, literally. This sun's brutal, right? But we've got a goal here. Tell me, what's slowing us down? Is it the layout, the pace, or something else? Let's problem solve together. What's up?
Then someone might say, well, the sod's tearing when we move it too fast, or the sod cutter is dull as hell. And boom, you've got something to work with instead of just, stress and yelling.
Exactly. Now you pivot into solutions. Maybe redistribute tasks or pause for a quick technique demo, sharpen those sod cutters. The team's engaged, morale goes up, and you're leading without the unnecessary stress. See how different that feels?
Oh, totally. It's like flipping a switch from struggle to teamwork. What's next? Give me another one.
All right, scenario 2. Say you've got a newer crew member and they're dragging their feet on cleanup duty. What's the coaching move here?
I'm thinking first, you don't want to humiliate them in front of everyone. So maybe you pull them aside and say something like, hey, I noticed cleanup's been taking a bit longer. What's up? Anything making it trickier than it should be?
Exactly. Open-ended questions. Then you guide it forward. Like, what if we try this method? Or shit, do you want to watch how I do this for a minute? And then you give it a go? You're investing in their improvement instead of just griping about what's wrong.
Right, and they walk away thinking, okay, cool, they're here to help me, not just get on my case. That builds trust fast.
It's all about creating trust and growth, Jake. All right, let's move to the last one. This time, I'm the rookie crew member, and you're the leader coaching me through a tricky plant installation. Take it away.
Oh, man, okay, here we go. So, hey, Mike, time out. These trees aren't as straight as they need to be. Each one should be perfectly straight. Here, take a look at how I line it up before setting it. Think you can make them all look like this one? It's all about keeping that clean symmetry, you know?
Solid start. And look at that. You're already teaching me instead of just giving orders. Now, let's say I mess up a little. How do you respond?
I'd be like, hey, this isn't perfect yet. No sweat, man. Happens to everyone at first. Let's adjust that spacing right here. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Keep doing it just like that. You're going to get the hang of this real quick.
Perfect. Build them up while correcting the issue. What we're doing here, Jake, is showing your crew you care about their success, not just the outcome. And that makes all the difference.
Man, I love this. All right, what's one last takeaway for listeners to start coaching, like right now?
Simple. Start small. Pick one person this week, just one. Celebrate a small win they've had. Ask them how they'd problem solve a situation. Then challenge them a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start integrating those coaching moves.
Yeah, and trust the process, right? Practice makes maybe not perfect, but definitely better.
Absolutely. All right, my friend, I think we've packed enough coaching gold into today's episode to fill a playbook. Listeners, thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, you're not just leading a crew, you're building a team. Way different vibe.
Yeah, and we want to hear about it. Hit up the social feed. Drop a comment, share a story. How are you stepping into that coach role this week? Because, man, we're all in this together.
Well said, Jake. And that's all for today, folks. Keep pushing, keep learning, and as always, the standard is the standard. This is Musclehead Mike signing off. It's time for my protein shake, bro.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.